Hi everyone, my name is Kristin Hayes. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today we're going to be making this pretty card using products from the new annual catalog, and that starts on June 3rd. You can start ordering products from there. So I'm going to show you how to make this pretty background using DSP, and let's just get started. So we're going to start with a piece of garden green, and we cut it at 8.5 by 5.5. I scored it 4 1/4. And then I do have a layering piece. We're not going to adhere it quite yet, but this is soft seafoam, and this is 5 1/4 by 4. We're just going to put those to the side. I have a lot of pieces today. And then this is a piece of Whisper White, and it's cut at 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And we're going to start working with this. So I've cut some strips of cardstock and DSP to make our detailing. And this is from the, let's see, Forever Greenery DSP, and it's just beautiful. I've used it several times in several videos already, but I can't stop creating with it. I just love it. So we're gonna start in this corner, and these strips that I've cut, the DSP is 3/8 of an inch, you know, this way, and then the length varies. You don't need more than 4 inches on any of them, and on the ones that go in the top corners, you don't even need an inch. You just need enough to cover the paper, but I'm going to have overflow and then trim it at the end, so I make sure I have my paper covered. So I'm just going to start with some snail, and I'm going to start with this. You can start with any of them, but I'm going to start with this pattern, and I'm just going to adhere the snail on the back, and then we're going to start in the corner, and you just want to make sure you're going to cover up the top corner, and then I'm going to just pick it up just because I have more snail on than I needed, so I don't want it to be glued down to my grid paper when I'm done. And then I'm going to take a piece of garden green cardstock. Now this I only cut at 1/4 of an inch wide. Just the patterns, the DSP are busy, which I love, but I wanted to break them up a little bit so you could actually appreciate each one individually. And then we're going to adhere the garden green down, just abutting that right up to the side of the DSP. Then I'm going to come in with this piece here. Let's see. Let me take a smaller, well, that's not really that much smaller. All right, we'll use this one. I have several different ones cut. And again, we're just going to abut it right up there, and I'm going to pick it up. And then I'm going to come in with soft seafoam, and this is cut at the same width as the garden green, just 1/4 of an inch. So as you can see, as I'm getting further in, you need a little more length in your strips, but obviously I have plenty of extras along the edges, which we'll just trim off. And then we're going to end with the same one we started with, just because it's such a little piece at the corner, you can't really even see it that much. You do want to make sure you're putting on enough DSP to get to the edges, because otherwise when you cut it and trim it, it will start to lift. If that happens, you can always just put a little bit of the fine tip glue underneath. You can stick that right in. So I'm just going to lift that up, flip it over, and we're going to do the same process on the other corner. Oops, make sure I get that corner. That one I really stuck down. Okay. Then we need another piece of the garden green. And again, we're just butting that right up to the other piece. I figure it's easier to pick it up when I only have one piece stuck than if I have the whole thing. I don't want it to rip. All right, so then we're going to take this piece here. And stick it on there. Okay, then we have the soft seafoam again. And you just want to make sure it's nice and tightly up against the last one so you don't have any gaps. And then this is our last one here. Whoops. There we go. Alrighty, so I'm just going to come in with my scissors now. And I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to trim out the edges. So I'm just going to go right along the side of my Whisper White cardstock. And those will stick to my scissors a little bit because they have extra adhesive on them. All right, and we're just going to go right around the corner here. Just want to get rid of them as I go, otherwise they're going to be stuck to something I don't want them stuck to. Okay, and then we just have 2 more edges to do here. And you can measure a little more closely than I did so you're not having all that extra adhesive, but in the interest of time, I decided just to put on more than I needed. Alrighty, so we don't need any of these pieces anymore. And I will flip it over. And you can see you have some nice detailing on the top and the bottom here. And I just want to show you, we're not making this card today, but this is one I went and I did the whole background on using the same stamp set that we're going to use and the same DSP, just so you can see what it would look like if you did the whole thing. For this card, I just wanted just a little bit of detailing. All right, so then we're going to come in, let's adhere this to our soft sea foam. So we can get that out of the way. All right, there we go. And then we're going to adhere it right onto our base. And then we can start on the centering parts, or centered parts. All right, so I have 2 rectangles cut out. I used the stitched rectangle dies. And the rectangles I use, now these measurements are approximate, but this is the larger rectangle is 4 by 2 5/8, and then the smaller one that I used is 3 1/2 by 2 1/4. And I already did run those through the Big Shot. So for the bigger one, soft sea foam, and for the other one, my corner is a little stuck there. For the Whisper White, for the smaller one, I used Whisper White. Sorry, losing my train of thought. All right, so then we're gonna come in and we're going to stamp this leafy piece in the middle. And we are using the Forever Fern stamp set, which is just gorgeous. I've used this so many times. I've already gotten more than my money's worth out of this stamp set. The sentiments are beautiful, the leaves are beautiful. It coordinates with a lot of other stamp sets. I just love it. So we're going to use the biggest leaf in the set. Let me put that aside. And I'm going to use Garden Green ink. And we're just going to ink it up. And I have a piece of scrap white here. This is just going to fit on it. And we're going to give it a good press. So then I'm going to come in with the dies. Now the dies, they match all of the leaves. I'll show you in the stamps. So you have a die for each stamp, and then you also, or the leaf stamps at least, and then you also have extra pieces that'll just cut out some nice backgrounds for you. So I put all of my dies on these magnetic, they're self-adhesive magnetic. I just left the adhesive right on the back. My dies were always such a mess, and this has made them so much neater. And I just got them on Amazon. If I can find the link, I'll leave it down below because they weren't expensive at all. And I got 30 of them, and I did all of my current dies. I didn't go back and do dies that have retired. Oh, and I didn't even take out the one we needed. All right, talking too much, I guess. This is the one we need. Okay, so we're gonna run that through the Big Shot in just a minute. just so I can kill two birds with one stone, I'm going to stamp my hello. And this is also in the garden green. Oh, I shadowed a little bit. Let's not press quite as hard. Okay, there we go. And to cut this one out, I'm using one of the Stitched So Sweetly rectangles. And this was in the spring catalog, and they're carrying it over to the new annual catalog. So I just used the smallest one. All right, so we'll bring the big shot up, and we'll have these two cut out. Let's see. Alrighty. Let's see, there we go, getting that lined up just right. Then we have our hello, and we're just going to center that in the die. Okay, put the top on, and we will send it through. There we go. So we'll just pop these out. Sometimes mine gets stuck a little bit. It's been well loved, these plates for the Big Shot. I'll be excited when the new die cut machine comes out and I can replace them. Okay, so we're going to do a little more stamping on here as well, and this is just one of the stamps from the same stamp set, and this time I'm going to use the soft sea foam, and I'm just going to put a little bit more in the corners here. So we're going to ink it up and just come in like that on all four corners, just to give it a little more detailing. Let's see. There we go. Now I think we have all of our pieces, so we can finish putting our card together. We're going to adhere this right onto the soft sea foam and just center that up. And then this is going to be popped up on some dimensionals onto our base that we've made. Alrighty, here we go. And then I'm also going to pop this up on a dimensional, this leaf we cut out. I think you guys will be I know that the catalogs have started to hit, the ones that I had mailed from Stampin' Up! If you've bought from me in the last year. And I just hope you're as excited over it as I am, because I love all of the new catalogs, obviously, but this catalog, my wish list is huge on. All right, so we're gonna just pop that up on dimensionals and put that in there, and then we're gonna put some dimensionals on our hello here, and then we are all set. So I'm just gonna line that up about here. There we go. So there's the card we made. Here is our original, and you can see it's really pretty easy to get this pretty detailing, and I'll show you one more time the other card I did with the full background of it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. All of my links will be listed down below, and if you have any questions or you're not already working with the Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, just let me know. Thanks so much for watching.